Very first question is easy. They have asked us out of these quantities, which one is a scalar quantity? Acceleration as a vector quantity, force is a vector quantity, velocity is a vector quantity, leaving us with only one option, which is Charlie. The second question is, a student measures the average speed of a cyclist in a race. Which quantity must she measure? We know that the average speed is equals to total distance over total time के equal होता है. ठीक है, let's review the first option. The total time taken the total time taken to complete the race and the time taken for the cyclist to reach her speed, दोनों ही time है. We need distance and time. So option number A is incorrect. The total time taken to complete the race and total distance traveled by the cyclist at her highest speed. No, we need the total distance traveled by the object. The total time taken to complete the race and the total distance traveled by the cyclist. This is somehow correct. Let's review the last option to be sure. The time taken to reach our highest. No, again, this is wrong. Because when it comes to average speed counts for the total distance traveled in a total time period. So what will be the right option? Option number C. Clear?
Yeah.
Moving on to MCQ number 3, they have given us a diagram in which we can clearly see that the object is reaching to a constant speed. So we have to see an option which relates to that. The object accelerates continuously. If accelerate कर रहा होता तो उसकी speed increase होनी चाहिए थी. We could see the object moving from left to right is slowing down. तो acceleration नहीं हो सकता. The object decelerates continuously. No, we do not see a constant pattern, at least for now. Okay? Because वो continuously decelerate नहीं हो रहा, उसकी speed increase हुआ. पहले भी वो increase constant speed से. This shows the constant speed and this shows the decrease in speed. So we have to look for an option जहाँ पे वो आ रहा है हमारे पास. So option number A and B are crossed. Moving on to the third option. The object travels at a constant speed, then accelerates. The object travels at a constant speed and decelerates. So we could see that here it's moving with a constant speed and then it's accelerating. Cause why do we know that? Change of speed, acceleration क्या होता है? Rate of change of speed with respect to time. So we could see
How would it look like if it was first constant and then accelerating?
dots are close to each other and at a constant distance from each other.
And then how does acceleration look like?
बिकॉज उस रेगुलर इंटरवल ऑफ टाइम के बाद अगर ऑब्जेक्ट स्पीडीली मूव करेगा तो उसको टाइम फ्रेम में दे से डॉट्स अपीयर होंगे.
No, I'm asking how would the dots be closer to each other or further away or what?
Further away when an object is accelerating.
Further away than what it is now, really?
Yes. ये तो
And
कांस्टेंट
right now
क्वेश्चन.
it's
ये वाला जो आई एम सर्कलिंग विद रेड वन, दिस इज शोइंग द कांस्टेंट स्पीड. एंड व्हाई डू वी नो दैट? के द डॉट्स आर एट इक्वल डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम ईच अदर. ठीक है. एंड लेटर ऑन as the time interval has not changed, so in the equal time interval if the object is accelerating faster तो dots हमें further away मिलेंगे. अगर object decelerates हो रहा होता तो ये objects क्या आने थे? Closer together आने थे.
this is acceleration.
Yes.
Can you not like tick everything? It's making it kind of confusing. Sorry.
So option number C. Then we have an okay. A plastic ball has a mass of 4 grams and the volume is 20 centimeter cube. There is a crack in the ball surface. The ball is placed in a bath of water. Water leaks into the ball without changing the volume of the ball as eventually the ball sinks. The density of the water is 1 grams per centimeter cube. Which mass of water has entered the ball when the top of the ball is first level with the water surface? Let's see. We do not know the volume of water. which has entered the ball, but in the question they have mentioned the volume of the ball has not changed. Clear? So this becomes the density, mass over volume, and this would be equal to the density of water.
Yeah, but
Okay?
doesn't
They
the
have
ball?
they also have mentioned that the ball has sinked, which means the new mass would be, when we'll put into the equation, the density would be bigger or at least equal to the water surface.
Mm,
ठीक है? अब we know that when we'll multiply it with this one, we'll get a mass of 20 grams. What is the mass of the ball already? 4 grams. We'll subtract it from this and we'll get 16 grams of water has entered the ball, which
what?
will sink the ball into the water.
I don't understand.
Which part? Clear now?
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one. A satellite orbits the Earth at a constant speed in a circular orbit. So let's review the meaning of a circular motion. Whenever an object is moving in a circular motion, the magnitude of speed remains constant. But its direction changes at every point, due to which we say the ball is accelerating. Okay? Because for an object to accelerate, the velocity must change. So velocity in terms of magnitude is not changing, but in terms of direction it changes at every point. So for acceleration to exist, we have studied that either speed changes or the direction changes, because acceleration is a vector quantity, or both. If the speed is changing, then the object would be accelerating. If the direction is changing, then the object is again accelerating. If both are changing, then the object is accelerating again. Okay? And secondly, whenever we are discussing the motion of an object along a circular motion, the resultant force and acceleration both are acting towards the center. Are we clear about these points?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's review the question what they have asked. A satellite orbits the Earth at a constant speed in a circular orbit. Which statement is correct? The resultant force of the satellite is towards the, the resultant force and the satellite is zero. The resultant force on the, okay, you have asked me not to put the ticks. Okay. Uh, Resultant force on the satellite is not zero, it's towards the center. We have discussed just right now. The resultant force on the satellite is towards the Earth. That's correct. The resultant force on the satellite is away from the Earth. That's wrong. The resultant force on the satellite is in the direction of its motion. No, it's always towards the center. So the only option that we are left with is option number B. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on to the next question. The diagram shows four identical objects. Each object is acted on by only the forces shown. Which diagram shows the equilibrium? What are the two conditions of equilibrium? Either resultant force is zero. If resultant force is zero, then linear equilibrium hota hai. That is, object does not have any linear motion. Okay. And if the resultant second condition of equilibrium क्या होती है? Resultant moment is equals to zero, then circular rotational equilibrium भी कह सकते हैं उसको, which means there would be no rotation. So for an object to be in equilibrium, resultant force and resultant movement both should be equals to zero. Okay? Because if resultant force is zero and resultant movement is not zero, then there is a possibility that the object might have a circular motion. If resultant moment is zero, but resultant force is not zero, then there is a possibility the object might have a linear motion. So for an object to be in complete equilibrium, there are two types of equilibrium as well: static equilibrium and dynamic equilibrium. Static क्या होता है? When the object comes to rest, and dynamic क्या होता है? When an object is moving in the constant speed. Are we clear about the equilibriums all along?
Yeah.
Moving on to the options now. They have asked us to find out which would give an equilibrium, which means the upward force and the downward force should be equal. तो किस ऑप्शन में हमें upward and downward force equal लिख रही है?
A and D.
Or why A is not correct?
Well, I don't know.
Because this might produce movement. ठीक है?
How?
Because वो इस आपके इस एंड पे perpendicular to the object लग रहा है वो force.
But
So leave,
even D.
leaving no, it's at the center. We have discussed when an object is when force is applied on an object at its center of mass, the object does not rotate. बल्कि हाँ, ये कंडीशन भी
Okay.
साथ में डिस्कस कर लेते हैं कि जो सेंटर ऑफ मास होता है, दिस इज द सॉरी सेंटर ऑफ mass is the point in a body, वो तो हमने डिस्कस किया हुआ है कि where whole of the mass of the body is concentrated, or if force is applied at that point, no circular motion is produced. Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to the next MCQ, we have which pair of a resultant force accelerates a car of mass m along a straight horizontal road from rest to a speed v in time t, giving its momentum p. Which pair of relationship of this situation is correct? What is the formula for momentum? They have given the right formula only in option number B and C for momentum. Okay, I'm only discussing about momentum. This is not the right formula for momentum, and this is not a right formula for momentum. How many formulas do we have? हमने कल भी discuss किया था. When it comes to momentum, P is equals to mv, F is equals to mv minus mu over t, and F cross t is equals to rate of change of momentum. Okay. So now out of
Okay.
option number B and C, which is the right one?
C.
Yes, because it has all the right formulas. Moving on to the next one. The diagram shows part of a roller coaster ride with car at different positions. The car runs freely down from position X to position Y. Without reading the options from X to Y, what will be the change of energy? X पे कौन सी energy होगी?
Kinetic energy.
X पे kinetic होगी या potential होगी?
Potential.
Because it is at a height from the Earth's surface.
Hmm.
Kinetic energy would gravitation potential energy would be converted into kinetic energy in moving from X to
Y.
Y. ठीक है? So the kinetic energy would increase and gravitation potential energy would decrease. Okay?
Okay.
So which
Because
would
the
be,
height decreases.
yeah. So which would be the right option? Energy in kinetic
C.
stored would increase and energy in potential energy would decrease.
C.
Yes. Option number C. Then we have a box is initially at rest at top of a rough surface. The box slides down the slope. The weight of the box is 20 newtons. The slope is 4 meter long and 2 meter high. The box does 10 joule of work against friction, which means friction is present. We have two formulas when it comes to law of conservation of energy. It's either mgh is equals to 1 by 2 mv square, that is potential energy is equals to kinetic energy. And the second one is mgh is equals to kinetic energy plus work done against friction. So which formula would we use for this MCQ?
The second one?
Yes, why is that? Because the friction, working against friction is present. So let's see what is the weight of the object, 20 newtons. So in place of mg, we'll put 20. What is the height? 2 meters is equals to 1 by 2. What is the mass? Mass would be 20 divided by 9.8 would give us the value of 2.04, I guess. मैंने आज ही क्वेश्चन किया था, एक स्टूडेंट को एक्सप्लेन किया था.
Yeah, 2.04.
Yeah. And V square would not have the value because that's what we need to calculate. And work done against friction is 10 joules. Are we clear up till here? Ab, this would be 40 minus 10 times 2, this 2, ये 2 equal के साइड पे जाके multiply हो जाएगा, divided by mass is equals to V square. अब V find out करना है तो इसका whole क्या ले लेंगे? Under root. So 30 into 2 divided by 2.04 whole under root, which would be 60 divided by 2.04 whole under root. What is the answer?
A 5.4.
Do you understand the question?
Can you do the rearranging the formula part again?
Bidmass rule, पहले 10 को तो जाके subtract कर दिया, then 2 को multiply कर दिया, and then 2.04 से divide कर दिया.
Okay.
Making V the subject. Maths वाला rule
Yeah.
लगाते थे, making V the subject. So we have this option. Then we have electric car. इसका formula आप मुझे बताएंगे. What is the formula for power?
Current times voltage or work. No, I know. IVT.
Energy over time. वो हम थोड़ी इलेक्ट्रिकल सर्किट्स कर रहे हैं जो आईवीटी लगाएंगे. एनर्जी कितना दिया हुआ है? 180 मेगा जूल्स, which would be 180 into 10 raised to power 6 divided by time कितना दिया हुआ है आवर्स में, तो 8 multiplied by 3600, converting it to seconds.
$6,250.
6.3 kilowatts. Okay. ये तो बहुत आसान है. लिक्विड प्रेशर का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? इज इक्वल्स टू रो जी एच. तो वो ऑप्शन नंबर किस में बन रहा है? डी में.
What?
ए तो डेंसिटी उसने लिखा हुआ है. डेंसिटी इज इक्वल्स टू प्रेशर इनटू जी इनटू हाइट.
Oh, okay.
ये इस तरह के ट्रिक क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जो स्टूडेंट्स जल्दी में गलत कर देते हैं विदाउट फोकसिंग ऑन द fonts. Then we have Brownian motion as a random motion of particles. In which state of matter Brownian motion is observed? Without reading the options, Brownian motion हम
B.
किन दो चीजों में डिस्कस करते हैं?
Fluids, gases, and liquids.
Yes, so option number B. कौन से दो ब्राउनियन मोशन के एक्सपेरिमेंट है हमारे पास? एक स्मोक पार्टिकल वाला और एक पोलन
Other
ग्रेन्स वाला.
four. Okay.
स्मोक पार्टिकल्स जो है वो एयर के पार्टिकल्स की मोशन को डिस्कस करते हैं, और पोलन ग्रेन्स वाटर के
Chemistry.
मोशन, वाटर के मोशन का.
Uh-huh.
प्रेशर वर्सेस वॉल्यूम का ग्राफ when the temperature remains constant, which one is the graph?
Wait. D.
Yes. And why is B not correct? Because ये वाला graph pressure versus volume का we get a curve, and pressure versus
Yeah.
volume में we get a straight line. Then we have liquid evaporates from a beaker. What happens to temperature of the remaining liquid? Remaining liquid का temperature क्या होता है? When the liquid evaporates,
Wait,
it
wait, wait. I
decreases.
know this. Okay.
And out of A and B, which would be the right option?
I don't know.
Think over the options. टेम्परेचर चेंज की वजह से रेट ऑफ इवेपोरेशन पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ेगा? If the temperature is
Increase.
decreasing, the rate of evaporation पे क्या इफेक्ट होगा?
Increase.
हाँ? If
Yeah,
the
because
temperature
then you need
if the
more
temperature is
energy.
decreasing, if the temperature of the system is decreasing, the rate of evaporation would increase.
If it gets colder, then you'll need more energy to break it down
हाँ, so rate of
into.
evaporation क्या हो जाएगा? Decrease.
Huh?
By rate of evaporation, if the kinetic energy of the molecule is less now due to the lesser temperature, तो rate of evaporation increase कैसे होगा?
More.
Do you get
Because
the
then you
meaning?
need more energy.
They are not asking for the further
Yeah.
points. They are asking at the particular moment, if the temperature is decreasing, what would happen to the rate of evaporation? We know if the temperature is decreasing, the rate of evaporation would decrease as well. It would only increase if the temperature was increasing. Because temperature and rate of evaporation is directly proportional to each other. What are the
Okay.
factors that affect the rate of evaporation? Temperature, direct, surface area, direct, depth, inverse. Because if depth would increase, rate of evaporation would decrease, and drought, that is sudden blow of air की वजह से भी क्या होगा? Rate of evaporation would increase. Clear?
Yeah.
What is the formula for specific heat capacity?
A.
Yes. Because E is equals to mc delta theta. यहाँ से टेम्परेचर यूज किया हुआ तो डेल्टा टी लिख देता. Next question is radiator. A room is heated by a radiator. The diagram X and Y show two possible circulation of hot air. What would be the right option? Out of X and Y, which one is right? इसमें वो क्या शो कर रहा है कि heated air would go up. ठीक है, यहाँ पे वो कह रहा है कि जी heated air तो always it goes up, तो Y option तो correct होगा ही नहीं. X option is correct, and the cold air takes its place. So हम will only go for option number A and B. Out of that, we know that when air gets heated, its density decreases. तो decrease in density किसमें उसने option दिया हुआ है? Option number
A.
A में. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Then a student write down some facts about transverse wave. Wave 1 has a frequency and a velocity v. Wave 2 has 4 times the frequency of wave 1 and is traveling at a speed of 2v. What is the wavelength of the wave 2? What would be the wavelength?
Uh,
What is the formula for wavelength? पहले मुझे ये बताएं.
Speed over frequency.
V is equals to f lambda and lambda is equals to v over f. If they have said the frequency has increased by 4, and speed has increased by a factor of 2. So what would be the answer? 1 by 2.
E/2.
Option number
Oh,
D.
mashallah.
Okay.
Okay.
Then ये कौन सा फिनोमेना होता है?
Diffraction.
Option number A.
Why can't all questions be differactions?
So continuing with question number 18 again. I guess we skipped that in the previous class. So they have asked us, we could see it right in the diagram that they have shown us there is a spreading of wave around the obstacle. So what kind of a phenomena is this? Diffraction. So they have asked us what is the phenomena. So it would be clearly diffraction. In the next question, they have told us that the light travels from air into glass. What is the right relationship of N from glass into air? So we know that we have three formulas for N. C over V, speed of light in vacuum over speed of light in that medium. N is equals to sine I over sine R. This is applied when light is entering from rare to denser medium. And this N equals to sine R over sine I is applied when it's entering from denser to rare. And then there is another formula which is N is equals to 1 over sine C. This is when the total internal reflection is occurred when the incident angle is greater than the critical angle. What is critical angle? Critical angle is that angle of incidence for which the refracted ray makes an angle of 90 with the normal. So this incident angle would be known as critical angle if the refracted ray is making an angle of 90 with the normal. So according to the question, which is the right option? Sine I over sine R. Moving on to the next question, we have they've asked about the image formed in the mirror. So we know that the image that is formed by the mirror is laterally inverted. So if something is written like this, it would be appeared as like this. If something is written like this, it would appear something like this. If something is like this, so lateral inversion hoti hai. So the only lateral inversion here we could see is in option number D. And the next question they have asked about, they have given us few of the values and they have asked us in which of the image there is a longest focal length. We know that this line, this dashed line is known as principal axis, and the point where all of the rays meet is known as focus point, and the distance from center of the lens to the focus point is known as focal length. So without uh, any calculation, we could clearly see that the longest focal length y, which shows the longest focal length, is shown in this option. So we would go with option number B. Moving on to the next one, we have the frequency. They have given us the frequency of waves and they have asked us to find out the wavelength. We know that what is the formula for wavelength? V is equals to F lambda and lambda is equals to V over F. As it's a microwave, it means it's an electromagnetic radiation and its speed would be constant, which is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meters per second. Putting this value into the equation, 3 into 10 raised to power 8 divided by 2400 mega means 10 raised to power 6 hertz, we'll divide it and we'll get a value of 0.125 meters. Moving on to the next question, they have asked us to find out the speed, to predict the speed of sound in solid and gases. And the knowledge that we have about the speed of sound is it's greatest in solid, then liquid, then gases. So we know a particular value that the speed of sound in gas or air is 330 meters per second, and it would be greater in liquids than in solids. So here we have there is only one right option with which is approximately equals to 330 meter per second, which is option number D. And also the solid speed of sound solids in 2000, so 3300 would match the results. The next question they have asked us, which would be the right material for soft and hard magnetic material. So we know that for soft magnetic material we use iron, for hard magnetic material or for permanent magnet we use steel. So let's see the option where they have given us the right option, and this is in option number C, that iron is a soft material and steel is a hard magnetic material. Moving on to the next one, they have given us a power source, and they have asked us to find out direction of current and direction of electrons. So as per our knowledge of electricity, we know that the conventional current, we always use conventional current, which is from positive to negative, and electron flow is in the opposite direction, which is from negative to positive. So electron flow would be from X to Y, and current flow would be from Y to X. So where is that option given? It's given in option number C. Conventional current is the current from positive to negative, and electron flow is always opposite to the conventional current. Oh, next two questions are very easy. They have asked us to find out the unit of electromotive force. So we know that it's measured in volts. So option number C would be the right one. And this graph shows that of Ohm's law, when the current, when the resistance does not remain constant, it's continuously increasing. We know that Ohm's law is only followed when resistance remains constant and voltage and current is directly proportional to each other. As we could see, it's not proportional anymore. The resistance is decreasing, oh sorry, increasing. So what would be the right option? The resistance increases. This graph shows that the resistance is increasing. Moving on to the next one, without even reading the question, we could clearly see that the R is moving away from Q, which means R would have the like charge, which is positive charge in this particular case. So we'll look for the options. Let's read. When the positive charge rod is brought to rod R moves away from Q, which conclusion can be made from this observation? We could clearly we'll find for an option where they have written that it has a like charge. Rod R is charged, but it is not possible to identify wrong. Rod R must be positively charged. Negatively charged, wrong. R is uncharged. If uncharged, if rod R would have been uncharged, तो वो attract होना चाहिए था towards rod R क्योंकि उसमें फिर charge induce होना था. This question is regarding the principal working of diode, which is diode only allows current to pass in one direction. So when we have a single diode attached in a circuit, we get somehow the input would be like this and the output would be like this, or it could also be like sorry, it could be like this. Or now, as we could see that there are four diodes attached in a circuit, which means it's a bridge circuit. And in a bridge circuit, what kind of output we get? We get like this. So without confusing ourselves, this is the input current. This would be the output only if one diode was connected. This is not the right output for the motor. And the only option left is option number D. Moving on to the next one. They have asked us to identify the components that must be attached in the circuit at point X and at point Y. And it is a temperature dependent circuit, which means we're going to go for option number C and option number D. We know that for a potential divider circuit, what is the out? This is V in, this is V out. What is the formula for V out? Resistance across Y divided by R X plus RY into Vn. So they have said that K, the completed circuit is a potential divider in which potential difference across component Y increases when the temperature increases, which means where we need to put the thermistor, obviously in position X, only then we would have a variable voltage here across this one. So the right option would be option number, what would be the right option? Option number D. Moving on to the next one. This question is for this question includes both the right hand rule that we have studied in the electromagnetic chapter and the Lenz's law. We know that whenever when the magnet is pushed back, there would be an attractive force and there would be a south pole present here. And if it would be pushed towards the coil, there would be a repulsive force and there would be a north pole here. Clear? Now, in the question, they have mentioned that the magnet is now turned so that the end pole is on the right. It is taken to the other end of the soft iron and is pushed towards end Y, which means now we have a north pole and south pole right here. So, in order to have a repulsion, there must be a north pole here. And if we apply the right hand rule, we could see that our thumb would point here in this direction. If we apply the right hand rule, we curl the finger with palm on your end and you will curl the fingers in the direction of current and your thumb would point in the right direction, showing that north would be present here, which means the direction of current would remain the same. So we would go for which option? Same direction, and there would be a repulsive force. Where the repulsion is present, it's only present in option number D. The induced current is in the same direction, causes the soft iron to repel the north pole. I hope you understand this question now. Moving on to the next one, they have asked us that if there is an alternating current present in the wire, what kind of a force would the wire would experience? We know that when there's an alternating current, the force experience would also alternate. So we'll find that option. The force on the wire is constant. No. The force is no, there is no force acting. Wrong. There's only force when the current reverses. No. So the only right option is the one. The force on the wire alternates between one direction and the opposite direction. Then we have a transformer question. Before getting into this, we know that we have two equations for transformers, which is Vp over Vs is equals to Np over Ns, or the other way around, Vs over Vp is equals to Ns over Np. And the other formula is power input is equals to power output for ideal transformers. For that, VSIS, which is output power, is equals to Vp IP. So what would the formula? Vp over Vs is equals to Is over Ip. So they have asked us which. So as we discussed the equation, so which would be the right relationship for this one? Vp over Vs is equals to Np over Ns. So looking for that equation would be option number B here. After transformer, there is a magnesium ion that has a double positive charge and a chloride ion has a single negative charge, which statement is correct. A chlorine gains an atom to form the chloride ion, correct. A chlorine atom loses a proton to form a chloride ion, wrong. A magnesium atom loses an electron to form the magnesium ion, somehow correct. Magnesium ion gains two electron, wrong. Magnesium ion would lose two electrons, so this would not be the right answer. So the only right option would be option number A. The next question they have asked us what would happen when a radioactive decay occurs. So we know that when a radioactive decay occurs, there's a change in the atomic nucleus. So a new element is formed. So they have asked us. So in the first option, there is no change. Wrong. Nucleus would change of element. There's only two options with the change of element. So the we know that the original nucleus is unstable, and when an alpha particle is emitted, there would be a change of element into that. Then they have asked us, this is a very interesting question in this one. They have asked us to find out the number of background radiation in the question, whereas they have given us the half-life, and also they have given us the data after two half-lives. So after two half-lives, how many atom is left? 400. So let's divide an option with this one. We'll get a value of 100. But what do we have here? 115. So we need to subtract the background radiations for each factor, and then we'll see in which we are getting 115. So if we start with uh 400, so 400 minus 12 would be 388. 388 divided by 2 would be 194, and 194 divided by 2 would be 97 plus background radiation. We know that the background radiation is first subtracted from the initial value and then added at the end of the question. So when added 12 into that, we'll get 109. So after two half-lives, you're getting 115, which is wrong. No, let's try this 20 thing. Minus 20 would be 380. 380 divided by 2 would be 190. 190 divided by 2 is 95. I am dividing it twice because we know that the data given here is after two half-lives. Because 15 is one half-life, so second half-life added would be 30 hours. So 95 plus 20 would give us a value of 115. So what would be the background radiation? 20 counts per minute. What happens in a process of nuclear fission? What happens in nuclear fission? The nucleus of atom splits. They does not join together. There is no involvement of electron when it comes to fission or nuclear reactions. We know that the nuclear phenomena is purely due to the nucleus and there is no involvement of electron. Also keep that in your mind that whenever we are discussing about the nuclear reactions, uh, E is equals to mc square equation always apply, which tells us that energy is converted into mass and mass is converted into energy. And whenever there is a nuclear reaction, the mass would also always reduce because a part of the nucleus would be converted into electromagnetic energy. So keep these points in your mind while you're doing uh, these kind of questions. Moving on to the next one, we have to find the orbital speed, which is 2 pi r over t. What is the radius given? 1.5 into 10 raised to power 8 kilometers. So it would become 1.5 into 10 raised to power 11 meters, because kilo is 10 raised to power 3. 3 plus 8 would be 11, divided by 365 times 24 times 3600 in order to convert it into seconds. So the right option would be 30 meters per second. Sorry, 3 into 10 raised to power 4 meters per second. Moving on to the next one. Moving on to the next one, we have the sun transfers energy from Earth to in the form of electromagnetic radiation. We know that the spectrum electromagnetic radiation consists of infrared and visible light. It also has gamma and X-ray, microwave, and visible radio and wave, but the sun transfers energy in the form of infrared and visible light, not the microwave. Because visible light is the main option. We will either choose B or C, but we know that the light reaches to Earth in the form of infrared radiation. We have studied that in greenhouse effect in the energy chapters as well. How does the sun produces energy? We know that the sun produces energy due to fusion, and fusion of helium or fusion of hydrogen. We know that the hydrogen fuses to give helium as a product. So that's it for the 2023 October November MCQs. See you in the next lecture.